Today we're going to be talking about how to learn the music fast. Jawohl! So I know that black dots on a page are really, really intimidating for a lot of folks, but we're gonna use this to go over something, and then we'll take that same something and apply it to just listening to a recording and learning music that way. But this will guaranteed increase your speed, okay? It'll also increase your pitch accuracy and your ability to phrase, which goes right into air, which goes into technique. So yeah, this stuff matters, and we will be applying it elsewhere as well. Just stay tuned. Whenever we listen to music as singers, when we're trying to learn it, it's always best to do a couple things. First of all, you have to learn the notes, right? And then you have to think of phrasing. So when we learn the notes, we can listen to a song over and over and over again, but it's best to deconstruct that into chunks. So what we have right here is the Minuet in G major by Johann Sebastian Bach. So what Bach was really good at was phrase constructing logic. Something he was good at. So we're going to break that down real fast. I'll just play it for you, this part. You've heard this before. Not that part, though. That was me being creative. So the way this song works is dum da da dee da dum 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 or something like that. So we can break that up into its smaller pieces. So we have the call. That's a terrible circle. My mother would be so proud. It's the call, and then the response. And usually phrases work either on call response or call response. And this is particularly true of more popular, more contemporary music, right? It starts to go different ways when you get into genres that enjoy a little bit more complexity, maybe jazz, maybe opera. But even within jazz, within opera, most music follows this structure. And then the bars also work out pretty even. There's 2 in the call, 2 in the second call, and then 4 in the response. So by thinking about music this way and giving it each note kind of its due by naming it, so, do, re, mi, fa, so, do, do. It makes learning music a lot faster, but it does more than just help you learn music. It helps you memorize where you're going, and having the destination and the journey in mind when you're singing is incredibly important. Here's why. Just even in this minuet, just in this piece, I have to keep in mind in these 3 parts where the high note is, because that matters to my phrasing. Just so happens, this also happens to be like a great exercise for singing because the phrase starts pretty close to the top in all instances. Wow. I screwed that one up. I need the sheet music. Here we go. So the highest note that I have to keep in mind in one breath, if I do the call in one breath, is this note. So I have to keep that in mind because here's the thing, and this is important. When you think of a note, your folds automatically adjust and they go to the thickness that would be appropriate for that note. You just think the note and your body does all of it. It's really cool. And so we can use that to actually help our technique. If this is the highest note in the call response thingy, majigger, this is a G4, then I know exactly what I need to be thinking about, and a good portion of my head is missing, and this is a little uncomfortable, so we're going to go back to the other scene. There we go. Now it's just covered by something else. Now my hands are cut off. Production value. We're cool here. Anyway. So, I am thinking this note the entire time. And a lot of the phrasing gets taken care of, like by virtue of the fact that I'm already thinking about the apex of the phrase, because usually the high note is the apex of the phrase. It is practical to know your solfege, not just to learn music quickly and have increased output, but it's beneficial in that you need to understand phrases in order for your breath and your technique to work out as well. If you just think note, 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 it's actually going to have an impact on your technique. So anyway, this is, and I have a garbage truck outside. Fitting. I'm trash. All right, this thing isn't going to go away despite how many jokes I make, so we're going to move on. This is how we can apply it to sheet music, but a lot of folks don't want to spend the time reading, but that doesn't mean solfege is not useful. It stinks that I can't use like Star Wars as an example. I was trying to, use it a popular example, but DMCA, not even for the point of education. We're just gonna get swamped by YouTube. So anyway, here's Star Wars. And I'm purposely messing it up so I don't get tracked. I don't make mistakes on the piano, excuse you. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I just plunked this melody out on the piano, right? I went to the piano and I was like, what's the note here? Okay, that's the first one, right? So we can kind of do the same thing with solfege as long as we are really, really comfortable with our solfege, with our scales and with our notes. We can be like, dum dum. Oh yeah. Okay, that's do so da da da. Well, I know that's going down by step. So fa mi re. Right? So this is how I can figure out a piece in my head as I'm walking down a street, and I can just, if I have headphones and a phone, if I'm on YouTube, I can play that video at like half speed and start picking out notes from solfege. It is incredibly tedious at first. It is a skill that takes a long time to develop, but it does increase your pitch accuracy. There are benefits even in the short term. So I'm selling on YouTube, I'm making a video about having patience and working hard. Holy shit, this video will never take off. I'm screwed. Welcome to my channel, y'all, where I give you practical advice and therefore will never make any money on the internet. Oh well. That's fine. Okay, so that's going to be 2 videos on why it's useful. Hopefully I've convinced people and that they will follow to the next video, which is about practicing these things. This video playlist series is just gonna bomb, I know it.